Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to what I refer to as the Christmas of Dreamforce. Or the Hanukkah, whatever.
All right, how many of you were at the first True to the Core session? Yeah, the Few the Proud. And thanks for everyone else who's joined. It's been a growing movement for sure. We seem to still have people coming in the room. This room holds, I'm told, 1,000 people, but we can pack more in. So keep coming in. We're going to have a great show.
I'm sure no one in this room knows who we are, Parker. Should we introduce ourselves?
Yeah, right.
I'm
Shauna Wolverton. I am True to the Core. No, sorry.
And Lightning. True to the Core and Lightning. That's what I do here. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm Parker.
I'm Parker. I founded this place.
Run technology and CTO. So if you're a Salesforce employee, could you stand up for just a second? Okay, there you go. No clapping, don't clap.
Don't clap for these people.
Okay, these are the people that you need to be asking, and so put their faces to the name, and get to know them.
We brought the cavalry.
They're here to take the front row away from you, obviously, so that you don't get to be up here and be true to the core. No, but they're here to listen to you. We care a lot about our customers. You guys called us on it. How many years has it been? 4?
5? 4?
5? 6?
Shut up. 6?
6 years. Time flies. You called us on it 6 years ago, and I hope we've honored it since then. I think there have been dips in our relationship where you feel that maybe we're not listening enough. Just keep us honest. Keep saying that. That's why we're here, and that's why we don't do it just here. We're also doing it on the road.
We have to do this one because they haven't seen it at all this week.
Of course, we have forward-looking statements. Any promises we make today will not be kept. Do not pay attention to anything we say. But we do love you. No, don't buy anything based upon what we say today. But we try to be as straight and honest and give you the brutal truth. And thank you. Of course, thank you. It's you guys are what, if you watched the keynote this year's keynote was all about the Trailblazer, if you missed it. The Trailblazer is you. You guys are the original Trailblazers, and you're the ones who have told us what you want. And we've responded all the way up to the full marketing of the keynote. And I think you should take great pride in that you've not just influenced our roadmap with features, not just influenced Sean and I and our other product managers, but you've influenced Mark Benioff to really transform how we talk about the company and how we talk about Trailblazers. This is the True to the Core session. I'm looking forward to it. We also have another keynote after this. Some of you might want to go to that. I don't know if anyone else is going to come, but there's an admin keynote coming up. It's going to be pretty cool. So we have got a lot of time with you.
Great.
You got the clicker?
I've got the clicker, yeah. So
let's talk about listening.
We're going to bring some great product managers up to give you some kind of cloud-by-cloud reviews of what's happened, and then we're going to quickly get to the Q&A because we know that's why most of you are here.
Did you pick up the rotten fruit as you came in?
But I wanted to give you a quick update of what's happening at Salesforce since we saw you last. We had a big program over the summer. We called it the Summer of Love. We're really hoping you noticed because what we heard from you is that maybe our PMs weren't spending enough time in the idea exchange. So we really...
That's what I meant by dips in the relationship.
Dips in the relationship. Parker said it very nicely, dips in the relationship. So we really went all in this summer, and every PM really spent time going in, looking at their old ideas, giving updates. We found over 400 ideas that got a good update over the summer. We had a bunch of ideas in there that we discovered we had delivered, so hopefully that was great news. It's the little things, people. It's great. And it really, what it did is kind of jump-started and re-engaged our entire PM community in the idea exchange.
And it's really cool. We're like, wow, we've already delivered 38. We didn't even know we delivered.
We didn't even know. It's amazing.
Wow.
And we have a team. Michelle is here. I think she's somewhere in the back, Michelle Murray. She's new to the idea exchange team, and they're really rethinking the idea exchange, and they're looking for an advisory board. So I know no one in this room has any opinions on the idea exchange, but find Michelle. She'll be around today if that's something that interests you.
Erica Cool's here. Erica, where are you? Kristen Engelhardt somewhere in here, hiding.
Anyone else? What?
Anyone else? And a bunch of product
We
managers.
have the reigning
but Erica,
king of
and
the
the cool
idea
kids.
exchange.
What?
We have the reigning king of the idea exchange here. We have
He's
Alex,
all lit up. Look at
Alex
that.
Sutherland, our biggest contributor.
I'm sorry for anyone behind him
He has a
not able to
staff
see.
and everything. It's
Apologies.
amazing. Right. So we've said this before, and we're going to keep saying it. Really, we're delivering ideas in lightning. So you should come with us on that journey if you have.
How do you feel about that? And half the room's good. Other half not so much. Okay.
No, it's good. No, I mean that's good. We're a few years in.
I'm asking them, Sean.
I know.
I'm listening to them.
Love you, Parker. So we have delivered a ton of ideas since last Dreamforce, and you're going to get a little highlight of all of those. But for those of you who sometimes feel like there's not really, how come not my? We're doing quite a bit, and you'll see more and more that with Lightning, because of the new technology, there's just a lot. It's a lot easier for us really to deliver those ideas there. We have a lot of freedom that we didn't have in Classic. So you'll see kind of an acceleration every year of ideas we can deliver. But not every idea gets delivered. We have a great poster. A lot of people, PM's Cubes, have this like, how hard could it be? Like, you give us an idea and you're thinking to yourself, come on, how hard could it be? Brian Kwong, our Salesforce wizard, is here, and probably a year or two ago, he asked me on Twitter how come I hadn't delivered something, and I told him that not everybody gets a pony. So you all got pony. A lot of people have got pony stickers. So if you didn't get one, a lot of people have them today, so we'll make sure you get one.
We won't give you the feature, but we'll give you a sticker.
Stickers. In lieu of features, stickers. No, I mean, there's a lot of things that a PM at Salesforce has to balance. We have a lot of infrastructure work that we work on. There are 16 channels, not just the idea exchange, of feedback that we get from customer advisory boards to EBCs to this.
Just putting this slide up to make ourselves feel okay
We
about
are a
it.
little.
Don't let it stop you from giving us the feedback. Don't say, I shouldn't ask for this because I understand they have got to do other innovation. The point of it is just to say, there are reasons we don't do everything. There's also time and money. Not everything's possible in the physics of reality, which sometimes you have to live in. And there are these reasons, but, we probably could have put this slide up 6 years ago and said, well, the reason we haven't done all those things is because trust infrastructure, 16 channels, I didn't know there were 16, innovation, competition, so that's why we're not doing anything. But in fact, 6 years ago, we were wrong and we were off balance. So it's more, we're never going to do everything, but we also should do something. So just, where's that balance? And let's make sure we get the balance right.
But it is a huge part of our product planning exercise, so we really do appreciate it. Please keep telling us, and I know sometimes it's frustrating, but we are delivering quite a few things on the Idea Exchange. It's very important to us.
And the other piece of feedback I want is we're doing this year with the same format we always do, and I appreciate you all being here, which is basically we get up, we say, we love you, thank you, here's why we're not doing everything, now let's tell you what we are doing and not doing. Give us feedback on this session. Tell us what you like about it, what you don't like about it. If you want to change it for next year, how would you, if you were to design it, and you were Shauna, because it's all Shauna's problem, if you were Shauna and you were designing this session, how would you design it? What do you want from us? And tell us so that we can do that for next year.
All right, Parker and I are going to stop yapping, and we're going to bring the PMs up. We're going to give you a quick update on everything they've done since last Dreamforce. PMs.
All right, PMs! Woo!
Alrighty, how are we all doing? Great? So my name is Marianne Patel. I've been at Salesforce for about 6 years, and I'm going to talk to you today about Sales Cloud. While I would love to take credit for all 198,000 points we've delivered since the last Dreamforce, I've only been here for 9 months on Sales Cloud. But today we're going to talk about lead convert and synchronizing Google Calendar with Salesforce Calendar. But also, Sales Cloud has really gotten to benefit from the power of the platform and what we've brought to Lightning. Lightning and what the platform teams have delivered have given us things like adding buttons to report types or merging across accounts or, a lot of the things that we rely on, we get a lot of benefit from our friends in platform. I have a lot of slides that just have a lot of lists of numbers. Hopefully you've read all of them and taken them in. Hopefully you like the fact that we have Opti history on related lists in Lightning. I think that's great. Woo! Okay, I'm the only person who thinks that's great with Shauna. But again, I'm not going to read these to you. Hopefully you've seen some of the things that you love, whether it's customizing your logo with my trailhead, adding tasks to the calendar layout. Kanban has been amazing, and having that on many objects is something that we love. We also love the fact that you can disable Classic now that you've fully migrated to Lightning and you're ready for it. And we continue to add more and more things, whether it's attendees to new events, default email templates, attachments to Gmail, all of these great things that we have added that you've been asking for, we have delivered since the last Dreamforce. And so we would love to, again, hear you keep giving us those ideas and letting us know what else you want to see in Lightning. Lightning has really allowed us to unlock the productivity that we've been trying to deliver you and all of the features that you've been asking for. So the list just keeps going and just keeps going and just keeps going. Yay. But I just want to talk about lead convert really quickly. Yes. Lead convert is something you have been asking us for. We've retired about 33,000 points with this idea. You've been waiting very long and very patiently for it, and Lightning has enabled us to really create an account, a contact, or an Opti with one click, select the record types, avoid duplicate records, and it gives you this very simple, straightforward flow so you know what you are doing when you are converting a lead. So hopefully this will help it make it easier for you to really automate your business process the way that you want to. Yay! I am going to personally take credit for part of this one, but syncing external calendars with Salesforce is something that we've heard a lot from you, and we really want to make it very simple for you to get the data that you want, whether you're inside of Salesforce, inside of your email plugin, or inside of your phone, and getting all of the information in the same place. So now you can see your Google Calendar or your Outlook calendar inside of Salesforce, see the same thing synced back. You can create calendar events inside of Lightning, see the attendee responses there as well. This bidirectional sync is great. And then items on the near-term roadmap, mass email, woo, 2 campaign members is going to be amazing, and reminders. And I'm going to hand it over to my friend Gautam.
All right, thank you, Marianne. Sorry, folks. All right, just a quick show of hands. How many folks in this room work more with Service Cloud than any other cloud? All right, I like it. It's a small audience, but I love seeing the Service Cloud family here. So, folks, my name is Gautam Vasudev. I'm a product manager with the Service Cloud team. And the first thing I'm going to comment on is why we have 30K points versus Marianne had 196 times that amount. I think the primary reason is that Service Cloud is a little younger in our Lightning journey, and maybe Sales Cloud has more ideas, or Service Cloud is just doing such a kick-ass job that, we're delivering less. The first thing I'll mention is that we are getting all the features that you know and love from the 1990s to 2017. So setting default email criteria, the ability to change knowledge article types, which is a bit ironic because in Lightning we moved from article types to record types, which gives you a lot more flexibility. You can do a lot more platform-oriented capabilities with knowledge in Lightning. Yes, that person is definitely part of the Service Cloud family. Allow case comments on the Salesforce One app. This was a huge pain point, I know, for a lot of customers. I'll just explain the first and last idea here. Ability to change case with macros. We know how important this was. And then finally, this last idea, even though it has 0 points, it had like 25 comments on the Idea Exchange site, so we wanted to include it here. And let me just talk about what's coming up next. So Service Cloud is working on a number of themes, along with Lightning, it's Einstein, and messaging. So we care a lot about new channels. So as these new channels come on board, I would love, and so would all of Service Cloud, to see more feedback on these new channels, especially through the ID Exchange, because it helps us understand how different channels are used geographically. And then more along field service. So this is a new and upcoming space for us. So please get a lot of conversations on field service, on ID Exchange, and then guidance as well. This is a key part of Service Cloud that we're investing in now. So ideas that we are working on. The first one is, of course, case merge and split and dedupe. This is the biggest idea on ID Exchange for Service Cloud. We're going to use a lot of the work that Sales Cloud has done on the dedupe. More options for changing owner or closing cases. But I'll talk about two features before I pass it on to Marco for Service Cloud. We're also working on case path. So for folks that have been asking, I know, yes. We saw that idea, we saw all the comments on it. And the second is we're working on mass actions, not just for cases, but other objects as well. So we got a lot of feedback that you wanted more capabilities around mass update case, mass change case owner, mass add case comments. That's coming your way in spring. So with that, I'll pass it along to Marco.
Excellent, happy to be here. How many of you use reports and dashboards? Yay! So we have some exciting stuff coming. So last year, we did some very exciting features. First, now you can add dashboards to your home page in Lightning. But it's not just regular dashboards. You can do that for dynamic dashboards, for filtered dashboards, and you can add more than one dashboards to your home page. So it's really a place to work. Besides that, we are doing run report without saving. in a Lightning report builder, I know it was kind of an inconvenience. Please use the new Lightning report builder. It's awesome. It's a lot easier way to create reports a lot faster. Besides that, I'm very, very proud of a feature called scheduling reports in Lightning. We have completely rethought how we schedule reports. Now every user can schedule up to 5 reports, and we will be doing the same thing for dashboards in the next 2 releases. And finally, now you can create reports and dashboard folders in Lightning. So what's coming next? We are completely redoing our concept of dashboard tables. Before, tables were kind of really tied to a report chart. So now we already have a beta, so anybody who is on Lightning, they can use a report table on their dashboards, tabular. So, but you will be in GA, will be spring, and you will be able to see 10 columns. You can do conditional highlighting. You will be able to do sorting, and besides that, that table is not tied to your report columns. It's tied to your report type columns. That means you can start creating a dashboard table and you have access to all the fields on your report type. So, and we are going to do the same thing for summary reports. So you can have true leaderboards on your dashboards. So still 10 columns and conditional highlighting and etc. So next, we know that you like colors and you like to choose your own colors. And so we are going to give you this ability to do colors on charts and also dashboard themes by org. So you can decide, hey, this is a color I want everybody to use. Or you can go by a dashboard. Or we are also thinking about by profile. I want this group to have purple, this group green. It's up to you. So that's our plan. And then we have these new things called subfolders. It's been never say never. Obviously, I've been saying kind of no for last, 9 or 10 years. And finally, I gave in. I accepted I was wrong. and we are doing subfolders. So what we are doing on subfolders, it will be 3 levels, so the parent and 3 levels down. It will be parent sharing, so we are trying to keep it very simple, but it will be still the way to organize your content and push it out to your users. And one more thing, we are doing field-to-field filters. Wow, this guy is getting a heart attack here. Watch out, watch out, watch out. So it's, yes, field-to-field filters. It's something, it's very simple. Give me a report where close date equals created date. And in both of them, so this is not just on date. You can do on any field on your report. So next are the items we are planning to work in the near term, which is conditional highlighting on reports, drill down on reports, putting a formula field anywhere inside your report. That is coming. Printable view, setting column width, and rename column names. And that's very important because you don't want to go in and change your column name on an object. And usually name on an object is really long, underscore something else. So now you have an option to do that on your own. And finally, we're working on joint reports, and we are planning to do, whenever you add a field on an object, we want to give you an option to add it to any report type. All right, on that note, I had a slide of things what we are not going to do, but let's move on.
All right. Want to go back? Let's go back. Can you go back?
I don't know if we can go back. Oh, okay. So personal tax. Personal tax are not really okay. We have to go faster. So Shauna is getting, move on.
Exactly. All right. Who here builds on the platform? Awesome. Who here has submitted ideas for the platform? Yeah, I know, Alex. All right, so a lot of ideas been delivered. Actually, I think it's been a great year for the platform. Couple that I care a lot about. So autocomplete for Apex and Visualforce code in the IDE. So yes, very excited about that. Ability to update metadata in Apex. I know a lot of people really wanted this. ISVs, customers, custom time field. Yes. And being able to get reset back to a vanilla state in a developer edition org. So using Scratch orgs, just starting over, didn't like what I did. Let's just do it again. Let's see. We've got a bunch of also updates in various APIs. So being able to, where did it go? Well, let's go here first. So being able to have changed queuable Apex jobs, so being able to allow callouts from them, so the ability to chain it and then call out to other APIs for integrations. Again, we've got another idea for clean developer edition orgs. So I know Vlad is excited about this one, deactivating, not deleting pick list values so that these are preserved in records and so forth, but you can't use them actively any longer. And a whole bunch of other stuff here as well. So a lot of really good things. And I think we've got one more. Here's the API one. So bulk API usage in the context of Salesforce apps being exempt. So that's a nice addition. So you can take advantage of that usage in your other applications. Composite API, being able to say all or none. Record count in the API. So there he is. So a lot of great updates in our APIs. So good stuff there. Let's look at a few others. Okay, now we're on actually the near term. So what are we going to be doing soon? Who here has wanted Switch and Apex for a while? So this is on the near term roadmap. So hopefully you saw the Apex session earlier. We released the new compiler. The team is excited to dig into some of these long-standing Apex issues and ideas. So digging into that. A lot of improvements coming to change sets, not just for standard pick lists, but there's all kinds of things we want to do improve change sets. custom metadata types in process builder, formula validation rules, etc. So I know there's a lot of desire to have that there as well. Let's see. Here is a huge one. And so to actually talk about this one, I'm going to hand it over because we'll give it to Eric.
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna make that. So it was 2 years ago. We were doing True to the Core. We were sitting in the developer theater. I think this room's a much better venue for it. Don't you guys all agree? Yeah. So I talked about that Lightning was going to let us do some really amazing things, including, for the first time, we could actually have the content be dynamic. And so we've GA'd dynamic Lightning pages with the winter release. We're going to be doing more with it in the spring release, adding more types of things where you can have your components become dynamic based on other types of information, allowing your components to change based on who you are. Perhaps ultimately, longer term, being able to do it things like where you are or what type of device are you on. So a lot of really interesting things about making the page, making the content dynamic. But the one thing I wanted to talk about is that this is really a down payment in my mind. This is the first step towards being able to deliver dependent page layouts because we're running formulas on the client. We can also then do some things like, what if validation rules could actually apply on the client? Wouldn't you like to know if your validation rule applied before you try and save the record? I think we could do some pretty exciting things with it. Okay, and with that, now we get to our favorite part of today's event, the Q&A. So if we can move that one forward. We've got 4 microphones in the room here, 2 on each side. If you guys want to come up, we will be happy to take your questions and we will route them to the best person to answer them.
Eric, looks like the first question is right there.
I've had two, nothing?
Can we get the mic in front on this side? There we go.
Is it on?
Yes.
Okay. I've had 2 burrs in my side for a really long time, and I've asked about them at this session in previous Dreamforces and been told, oh yes, they're coming real soon. The first one was about 5 years ago, I think. And the first one is the address field type.
Yeah. Ooh. New face, so.
You see, they send in a new face to answer those questions.
Yeah, in fact,
sure it was a different
every
person
year the
answered
person
last.
who promised it has disappeared.
Well, I have to say we prioritize time field over address field. So, and that's the same team that responsible for all custom field types. And the address field is still in nearest future, maybe 3-4 releases from now.
Uh-huh. I wish I could say I believed you.
Yeah.
The second burr in my side is the ability to have multiple sort criteria in reports.
It's on summary, matrix, or tabular. Which reports would you like? On all of them.
All of them.
I knew that. So it is something we are thinking about actually sooner than 3 or 4. Whenever we finish our report builder, that's when we'll focus on a little bit more advanced features like that. Yeah. I think
most people would consider the ability to have more than one sort field not an advanced feature, but a basic.
So it's. However, for a regular user, it's hard to conceptually understand.
I get
so that's the only reason. But 2 releases away.
Okay.
Okay. Beth?
Hi, Eric.
Hi, Beth.
So I have a question about the formula engine and parity for admins and developers. So in Apex, I can do something like .add months, and I give it a number, and it does the math for me because the platform has a calendar behind it. In a formula, there's an example in documentation in the sample date formulas doc that takes 19 functions, 6 levels of indentation, and 17 lines to be remotely readable.
Yeah, so that's declarative, right?
That does what I can do in Apex in one method call. So when are we going to get comparable functions in the formula engine to be able to do add months, add years, add days, etc., especially now that we have time?
You want me to take this? Hi, everybody.
Hi, Stephen.
I'm Stephen Tam. You can all see me. If you're not going to the admin keynote, I'll be hosting Meet the Developers. You can ask me similar questions later. I think it was about 3 years ago, that I got asked this about 18 character versus 15 character IDs, case safe IDs. Y'all remember that? And that was almost as bad. The issue that we have internally is that we turned the formulas into SQL, and our SQL engine doesn't understand calendars. However, you don't care about that.
No, I don't.
But the reason why it's important is because we have that like limit of the size of formulas that sort of sucks. So y'all familiar with that?
Somebody actually told me that one of the formulas in this document that I'm referring to doesn't actually compile.
The case safe IDs one doesn't work if you use it enough times, but we'll fix that later. We're trying to, I know internally, because I work on internal stuff, not a product manager. I sometimes write code, but mostly management. We're working on making it so that the limit goes away. And when the limit goes away, we'll be able to expand to a lot more functions. I don't think we have anything on the roadmap for having a generic, give me a formula function I can drop in yet. But we're working on it. When are we going to go past the character limit? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not. We don't know just yet.
Is that you?
Yeah, I think we don't have a date for it just yet.
Once we do that, then we can add months. The problem is you'll use it, then all of a sudden the formulas will break because you'll succeed.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But we're talking about empowering admins.
So I know.
Completely agree.
Thank you, Stephen.
It's a technical limit. We're working on it.
Okay, let's take some from the back of the room.
Hello. Next question to reports. The matrix reports we can group, only 2 columns we can group by. So can we increase the group by 3 or 4 columns?
Yes, we are thinking about it. So after we are done with the report builder, we will still keep 2 columns, 2 groupings on columns, but we are thinking about increasing it maybe to 4 or 5 on a rows.
Okay.
But that's 2 releases away. That's my standard answer now.
Okay.
You should say 1 Dreamforce away.
Also on the back on the side, yes.
Hey, thank you. This is sort of a higher level concept. When you're going through these ideas, you're going through them by way of clouds. This is an idea that kind of cuts across clouds. It's about documentation. And what I would encourage you to do is for following years, true to the cores, putting together ideas that relate to helping admins and developers document the configuration in their Salesforce orgs. Because all these wonderful features that we get make it harder and harder to answer simply the question, what happens when I save an account? You know, what validation rules fire, what workflow fires, what flow fires, what triggers fire, etc. Being able to see all of that, for example, in one place is the kind of documentation I'd love to be able to do, that kind of audit power, not at the low granular level, but at a higher level that's easy for an admin or a developer to read. And I think that class of ideas would be really useful. That's it.
Amber. My mic is working now. Yay. Amber, did you put him up to that? I smell you in that question. That's usually Amber's question. Yes, he is. Right. No, I mean, there is a lot of stuff we're thinking about here with Lightning and the readiness check. We unlocked this really cool ability for us to look at metadata and report back to you on it. So there's now the optimizer report that tells you everything that's happening in your org, where you are against your limits, how your page layouts are looking, what's being used, what's not being used. And this is one of those things that we can definitely tackle there so that we can compile all of the kind of description fields that are in your metadata and give that back to you in a way that's more self-documenting.
Back to the front.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Chris. I work for WAG. We're a Platinum Salesforce partner, and we do a lot of Pardot work. So I've got 2 Pardot related questions. and one is specifically relating to the email builder and how a lot of our customers are requesting an easier to use email builder. And that we're migrating them from MailChimp, and the complaints that we're getting is that the MailChimp email builder is so much more powerful and user-friendly than
Which email builder are you talking about? We have like 10.
The one. Well, exactly. It's the one in Pardot. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Meredith. I work with the Pardot team. We are doing a lot of consolidation around our email building experience, and so bringing that to much more of a platform. That is top of mind for our Pardot customers and that experience. So I think you'll see some great advancements there over the next year.
Excellent. And then when you're
Austin,
building
would you like
your
to add anything about the email experience? No, he would not like to.
when you're building your email or anything within Pardot and you want to pull in the assets that you've uploaded in files, you just get a huge list of all your assets, and it'd be great to be able to navigate through your assets and your images through.
That is a great point, because the other thing we're doing is taking all the assets that exist in Pardot and making those platform objects. Okay. So you're going to see this overall trend around these becoming platform objects, not just sitting in Pardot. And also being able to use more of your CRM data as you're composing your emails as well.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Oh, I got some claps. Woo.
Awesome. Thanks, Meredith. Steve Mo.
I write a lot of formulas. And like, is there anything on the roadmap for like any of the formula editors to get like an update? Because like they haven't been updated ever. And like,
you don't like the big blank text area? You mean it should be better than that?
I
think we can do better.
If they all looked, or if they all were like a non-twitchy version of the process builder formula editor, something that was maybe declarative, and also of all the formula editors, the one that probably could use the most work. I mean, I love report summary formulas until I need to actually write one, because that formula editor, I hate to say it, but that thing, it's like the death of 1,000 cuts. If you click the insert field button and you're in a multi-object report, that thing explodes from the top of the screen to the bottom of the screen, and there's nothing to even indicate what object the field that you're selecting is on. So I've built report summary formulas and grabbed the wrong field name, and I don't realize it until I run the report, get out my calculator, and realize, like, wait, this number's not what it's supposed to be. Then I gotta go and find the other one. Okay. Like, those things need some love.
I can take.
So,
Two releases out.
I'll let Marco speak to the report summary ones, but the general formula area, I completely agree with you. It is something that we have started to do some research and some design work on, but it's going to be a few releases before we can start to see a new formula editor. My goal for it, though, ultimately is for it to be all the places we use a standard formula editor, to have a great new Lightning experience for that.
Something like a declarative formula builder.
Something like that, yeah. Where
while we got the hood up, while we're in the neighborhood, a declarative.
It seems like we can do it. The bar's pretty low right now, so I'm guaranteed it'll be better, and I've got some great ideas with my team. So look for it, but it's going to take a little bit. So now, Mark.
On a report side, we actually have a good news. It's not 2 releases away; it's 1 release away. We're working on it. So part of Lightning Report Builder, we are redoing our custom summary formulas. So it will be a type ahead. It's a lot cleaner. It's much better interface. And besides that, we are planning to do row level formulas. And that's 2 releases away.
Awesome.
Thank you.
So there's a lot of work going around. Again, with a report builder, we can do a lot more.
Awesome. Okay, let's jump to the back.
No, I think so.
Hey guys, how's it going? Okay, I got 2 things. One is very quick. First, feedback on reports in Lightning. It's gray on gray. I can't read it. It's a bunch of gray on gray, and it's hard to tell like what's what's row. No questions there. That's just a little bit of feedback. 2, actions. Actions are one of those things. It's like I can see what you guys are trying to do here, and there's so much potential, but I get very, very frustrated very, very quickly. New note pops up a little action from the bottom. New task, new event, email, they all go on the little activities page. Every other action goes in the button row. Like, I don't know where I'm looking for anything.
Okay.
And what's more, I would love to be able to say, all right, new task, I know you normally go here. No, I want you a button, or I want you coming from the bottom, or I want a modal. Give me some control, please.
You're absolutely right. So, first thing that we're doing, we've got a lot of work to do to kind of clean up actions to make them awesome. First thing that we're doing in the spring release is we're giving you control over your lightning action so that, for example, if you want to use a lightning action in lightning, that doesn't mean that you should all of a sudden lose the ability to have that action override in classic. So we're going to clean that up and allow you to actually have discrete action assignment there for your action override so that you can have classic, lightning for mobile, and lightning for desktop as separate action assignments there.
Mobile.
Then, looking forward beyond that, the next thing we want to tackle is cleaning up how those actions display. Is it a docked composer? Is it a modal? Is it a workspace tab in a console? And give you some much more control over that. So you're completely right. It's something that we're working on, I think, probably over the next couple releases.
Awesome. Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
This is from an idea that I think has like 43,000 votes. And it is improving the ability to filter roll-up summaries and use formula fields. As an admin, that's the thing I go to a developer for the most, is doing a roll-up that requires some sort of complex logic or a formula field.
Cue
The ID Exchange says no, so I'm hoping you might say yes.
Unfortunately, I don't think I have any good news for you. It's not planned yet.
Okay.
But yeah, the people suggesting to use, I believe it's Andy Fawcett, library for RSFs, until we figure out how to fix it on platform. DLRS, yeah. It's a search for Andy Fawcett solution for RSFs. It's pretty popular and powerful, I have to say.
All right, thanks.
Okay, everyone. Let's give a quick thank you and say goodbye to Shauna and Parker.
We do love you.
We love you.
Get ready for the admin keynote.
Yeah, so-
We'll see you there if you want to come, or Stephen Tam's talking also, which is going to be cool too. We'll see you over there.
See you there.
Be there, be square.
Thank you, guys. Okay, where were we? I think we're in the front back now.
Thank you. At the beginning, when Parker started, there were a slide up here saying that trust was one of the primary things here that oftentimes prevented you from creating new things, but it also was the number one value. We've heard that all week long. With the Lightning platform having come out, we have Lightning components, and organizations are encouraged to create their own as admins and so forth. One of the things that doesn't exist is CRUD and field level security for those customers who don't know better. All right, ISVs and so forth, they know if they want to release a Lightning component, they have to do their own CRUD and field level security, cross-site scripting, and all those other things if they're going to put that component out there. But your average customer in a small org has no idea and doesn't understand these concepts, and trust is not being taken care of. All right, you guys have the health security app and so forth. Talks about whether or not your Visualforce pages are secure, which you guys have always taken care of. There's nothing in there that looks at Lightning components and the security issues that are involved. And you guys have taken 2 steps backwards from my perspective in terms of trust and security with what you're doing with Lightning components for your average small business. So what are you going to do?
Thing on. You guys hear me?
Yep.
So I get to field that one. I'm Ryan Ellis. I run the Lightning Foundation, so a lot of the underlying parts that our developers use and on the backbone of which our admins get to use. So I agree with you. I think that we need to do a lot of work there. The good news is that I think we're starting to take some good steps towards that. And let me tell you a little bit about some of those. So first of all, we have this thing called the Lightning Data Service. Are you familiar with that at all?
Yes, I am.
So the Lightning Data Service does take care of all of the CRUD and FLS types of rules that you have. So the data that you're getting through that is all sanitized in that kind of way. So that's one piece of it. You, of course, need to know how to use that, and that's, of course, a little bit more challenging, and it is more targeted towards your average developer as opposed to your average admin. That's where it comes to some of the new components that we've been delivering. So in this last release, we just delivered something called Lightning Output Field, and in the next release, we're going to be delivering Lightning Input Field. And these two components are very, very similar to the Visualforce versions of them, Apex Input Field and Output Field. And they also manage all of the CRUD and FLS rules for you. So you can simply put a tag on the page. You don't actually need to use the Lightning Data Service with it. It's actually built into it itself. And so that individual tag itself, you're just basically saying this object record ID, this field, and it takes care of the rest. So that starts to make it more easily accessible to you to make sure that that is, in fact, delivering the trust that you need. The next step beyond this is for us to deliver something we've internally been calling record form, which is essentially a programmatic version of I want a form that has all of these fields, either for viewing or for editing. And again, that, like the input field and output field, will automatically have the data service built into it, and therefore CRUD and FLS. So, long story, agree with you, we're taking steps to get there, and I'm sorry it's taken this long.
Thank you for your answer. I just feel like that's where you guys should have started, that these were essential components that needed to be there, because all along you've been talking about trust being your number one priority, and that you were delivering Lightning, which was going to be more secure to your customers, and I don't think you delivered that initially.
Thanks for your feedback.
Your feedback.
The input field has actually taken us 3 releases itself to build. It was frankly longer than we thought. It's a very complicated thing. For any of you who have tried to build a lookup field by yourself, you may know what I'm talking about. But totally hear you, and thank you for the feedback.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan.
I have a question around events.
Events. Okay.
Within Lightning Experience, when will we be able to create recurring events?
So recurring events is something that we are working on. We have currently Safe Harbor targeting a pilot in the next release or so, and then GA after that. So
Excellent, thank you.
it is coming.
Okay, let's go back to the back again.
Yeah. So I get that we can't all get a pony, but some of the ideas that you're closing off have got 0 points. And there's tons of ideas that are sitting on there which are 10, 11 years old with 40,000 plus points that are still sitting under review, or nothing's happening with them. Or if something is happening with them, then they didn't necessarily get any love in the Summer of Love. So where are we getting back to the core? Sorry, a little bit black hat there, but...
I can talk about from my side. Yeah, I guess every product manager operates in a different way. In my side, we just see like where are we focusing at the moment, and what are our developers working on, and if there is any low-hanging fruits, even there's 0 points, but we see there is value to customers, we close them. So it's really depend, because we're in a Scrum environment, there is a certain specific times of how many resources we can spend on things, and that's where we kind of pick and choose. If there is a big idea with 40,000 points, we would love to close it, but it means it's kind of hard, and that's a reason. It takes longer.
Right.
And that's from my perspective.
Yeah, I think I feel the same. I think the thing I'd add to it is that some of the time, some of the smaller things you may see are the stepping stones that will enable us to then to tackle some of those bigger things. You know, some of what I was talking about before is that some of those bigger ones that have been asked and that have been out there for 10, in the case of 10 years, there's pieces that we have to first address before we can deliver that. And so it's just an iterative process on those, I think, is the way to say it.
It's like building a house. It's just stone by stone.
Then a little bit more transparency would be great. But I appreciate that. Thank you, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, appreciate it.
On the side in the back. Hi.
I work on the Middle East market, and Lightning doesn't support right-to-left languages such as Hebrew and Arabic. Is this on your roadmap, and how far?
Steven?
What I want to say is not the corporate line. And what we're supposed to say is that we're not going to support right to left in Lightning or in Salesforce 1. But keep providing the feedback directly to Parker, and that might change. I put a lot of work into getting Hebrew and Arabic into the product, and I don't like its current status. So you all put pressure on Parker and put your dollars behind it. I actually don't know. Add Parker Harris.
Okay.
Parker H at Salesforce. Sorry.
When is Lightning for Outlook going to support Salesforce to Exchange for events?
Damien up there. Damien?
Salesforce to Exchange for events. You mean seeking?
Just one-way direction, Salesforce to Exchange.
You can already do that. So
Not in Lightning for Outlook. I got a tier 3 response saying it's not supported.
Yeah, you can do the bidirectional. You can do the bidirectional.
We don't want that.
Or you can do the exchange to Salesforce.
We only want Salesforce to Exchange.
Yep.
So is that on the roadmap or?
Well,
it is something that we had started investing in, and we started investing in it. So we do know that it is a request that is coming in.
Okay, all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello. I have a question about Process Builder, because we have a lot of workflows and we are moving to the Process Builder because we see all the benefits. But moving every time to the Process Builder page is quite a hassle because you always lose the sort order. So I would like to ask for list views, and I really miss them. And there is a second thing. Why do I have to activate as an admin always the process and just have like the last version run for me?
Repeat that last one.
If I have a process,
yes,
and I want to test it, I have to activate it.
Yes.
But that sometimes leads to try and error, and maybe to a lot of process versions. So if you can just have like the last version that I have created run for me as a system administrator,
right? Okay.
Without having it active.
Cool. My name's Scott. I'm a product manager on the Lightning Flow team, which includes Process Builder. And so right now, so we know about both of these. We've heard this request, and they are on the roadmap, and they're relatively near the top. So list view in Process Builder is something that's going to come probably pretty soon. Where we're at right now is all of our resources are being funneled into replacing the Cloudflow Designer because of the whole Adobe Flash thing. So that's taking all the priority. So every question you ask about Flow or Process Builder will be after that. But that is very much at the top of the list. And the whole thing around activating flows and processes and being able to run them and test them and give them context without changing production data is a big epic that we're going to be addressing in the next year or two. It's a huge effort, error logging, and giving the administrators the ability to see a list of all their errors, not from an email sent to the last person to touch the flow or process, but having a log. And then I don't know, maybe even taking the context that errant process ran in and feeding it into a debugging flow where you can see it all and inspect the values. That kind of a thing. So we very much know about this, and we're taking it. We're going to be working on it soon.
Because I really missed it. I was part of the pilot when you had to run flows from workflows, and there was the option to run the last flow version as an administrator, even if it's not active. So this would be very nice to have this feature for processes.
Yeah, definitely. And also test a process as another user. Right, like set the context so that you can see what it will look like for that user.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, in the back again. Thanks, Scott.
Hi, we use Notes Beta in Lightning and are wondering when we'll be able to report on notes related to objects and also show the contents. rather than just having to run a report of all files of type S-note and still not being able to show the contents. Also, when will Notes Beta be out of beta?
So what is Notes Beta? Yeah, it's not beta, it's GA. I mean, it's been GA for a while. So Notes is GA, which is great news. The what is that we unfortunately are not focused on the areas that you just asked about right now.
Sorry, not a pony right now.
And no timeline. Okay.
No timeline.
Okay.
Yeah. First of all, congratulations on big objects. That's a game changer for large enterprise customers who I work with. Two questions. Firstly, when would there be declarative capabilities within big objects? And secondly, when could we delete the big objects or the records within big objects?
Hi, I'm here, so I can answer. I'm James Ferguson.
Others.
Product manager.
There you are. Thanks, James.
Oh, yeah.
You should talk.
Delete we'll have in the spring release. So both individual records, all the records as well. Set up support for declaring new. It's probably something that's still a release or two away. Probably summer or winter. It's not immediate, but it is something we know we want. A metadata API isn't the ideal we're looking for sure.
Okay.
And reports is something we are working with Marco's team on. There's a challenge to make sure that if you have a big object with 1 billion records, you don't have a report that takes the entire day to run. So we're looking at ways that we can perhaps use the filtering that's there now to allow you to scope the data down to a point where working on a report makes sense. And so that's something it's still something we are working on from a design perspective, so I don't want to commit to a timeline, but it's definitely something we know. Having just expanded queryability of big objects, whether it's reports or general SOCL, is something we're trying to figure out how to enable in a way that's safe so you aren't generating these billion record table scans. So.
Okay, I think we've got time for one last question. So we will try and stay afterwards and answer a few afterwards, but let me take the one last question from.
Can I ask two?
Just one.
If the profile retrieval is very profile retrieval, custom profiles, system profiles, the retrieval is very tedious process. You have to retrieve whole package like classes, pages, objects to retrieve a single profile. That's a huge zip file you get. So is there any work done in that area?
Hi, I'm Belinda. I look after profiles. So actually in this area, we're trying to move ourselves away from profiles. So the idea will be that we're working on something called permission set groups, which is a way to group permission sets together that will replace profiles. So So we understand your pain with profiles, but work with us and we're gonna move you off of profiles and you'll get all the benefits of what we've done with perm sets, where you can retrieve everything once, you can replace it all at once.
Okay.
When is that happening?
Perm set groups is somewhere around 2 to 3 releases away.
Okay, thank you everybody for coming. We really appreciate the feedback.